basement. Level vibes with another one. Straight up. Blackness, aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop. Radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop. Straight up from the root. Mark Benskop. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop. Radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop. Straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop. Defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jasnity Kaldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup, and what they are doing today I can't take it, so I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more.
I thought you come and tell them you support, make sure to support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always remembered me. From since he was a minister, he's always...
em. Ông hiểu.
I thought you come and tell them you support, make sure to support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always remembered me.
Em. Ông hiểu. Em.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship?
I thought you come and tell them you support, make sure to support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always remembered me.
Yeah, my name is Jasnity Kaldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup, and what they are doing today I can't take it, so I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
There are lots of people who are like anti-data out there. Some of you, just one or two in the audience, who don't like when we play anti-data stuff. We don't worry with those sort of individuals who don't like anti-data. We love anti-data. We know that anti-data is sincere, and we know that anti-data will put her vote somewhere else, but not with the PPP regime. Hopefully it is somewhere where it is a responsible vote. That is what we're looking for, right? A responsible vote, but certainly not with the PPP regime. I endorse this statement from Anti-Data.
Yeah, my name is Jasnity Kaldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore in the morning. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Auntie Data is correct if they have to lose by one vote, and she means it. She means it. There are lots of folks like Auntie Data who are fed up with the PPP regime. Lots of them, lots and lots of them. And those folks who are fed up with the PPP regime ought not to be alienated. And so our platform, Benchop Radio, 107.1 FM, we are going to continue to encourage individuals to vote against the PPP regime. Look, our executive producer put, we can beat the ailing PPP. Of course. How many of you believe that we can beat the ailing PPP regime? The PPP regime is already destroyed. Self-destruction. They have destroyed themselves. And here's what these pakus in the PPP regime are doing. They're going around the world, they're going around the place, and they are begging. They're begging. They're on their knees, licking and begging for money. Hundreds of millions of dollars. They're begging. They're going around the place with a begging bowl, begging for money. And guess what they're doing when they're begging for money? They're corrupt. They are stealing majority of the money. So when they leave office in 2025, when they leave office, and that is why our the headline basically is, we can beat the PPP, but those in the opposition, those thin-skinned folks in the opposition, they get some of them thin-skinned one. Right off the bat, bums start to raise in the audience. Some of you, right? We can beat them, but these thin-skinned mini so-called overnight dictators, some of them are in the opposition too. They got to get their act together. Some of them bums raise. They raise the bums. It's like you can't criticize them. It's like you can't say nothing. It's like you can't have an opinion. They're ready to bark at you. They're ready to threaten you. But like we say here, right here on 107.1 FM, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. If you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. Simple as that. You can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. We want to see those opposition politicians do more. All of them. All of them. We're calling on them to do more. This is not a position where you just take a position, you become lazy, or you believe that you know it all. Everything you know you know it all. Know it all. That is what it's about. Anyways, last evening it was about calling on our opposition politicians to expand this whole thing, reach out to others. And we spoke about the family value, right? And some people bumps raise because of family value. Some people feel that you are attacking their family, and we don't do that here. We do not attack people's families. We do not get personal. We just do not do that. And we do not encourage anybody in the audience to attack people in their family or their kids and all these. Mind you, a lot of you in the audience, everybody get bright kids. This is not about one set of people get bright kids. Everybody get bright kids. Everybody's proud of their kids. And this message is for a particular individual there in the audience. And so we do not deal with threats. We do not accept threats easily. And if people want to fight with us a certain way, we know how to do it. And we are good at doing it too. So those sort of threats, they're not going to work. They're not going to work. Again, I wish to reiterate that in terms of family values, we need to see our opposition politicians, and mind you, I'm saying our opposition politicians, we need to see them. We need to see the family bond, the family connection. We need to see that. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. And who don't like it could just take it up wherever they want to take it up and put it up, if you know what I mean. All right. So what is happening in your neck of the woods? What is it that you guys want to? Mary Baird is talking about right off the bat. Mary Baird is saying, yes, Mark, some of them collect the brown bag. Of course. It's pretty obvious. Look at a lot of things that's happened this week, over last week, this week, and so forth. And these guys in the opposition, and mind you, they get a few of them, right, who are brave. And we've mentioned a couple of them, and we'll continue to do so, are brave enough to confront the PPP regime. But it's like some of them, it's like it's a soft spot. They don't go after the PPP regime. Some of them, it's faster for them to come after people like us, who put our lives on the line every single night, every single day. And we don't get paid for it. We don't get paid for it. Many of us have other stuff to do. We have other stuff to do. But we dedicate ourselves into ensuring, you guys know Emma is here. Emma, right? You know, and you guys know I don't have to apologize to you for Emma being in the studio, and she pops in. She's the boss. There's no apologies for that. Absolutely none. It is what it is, right? Yeah. When the boss steps in, the boss steps in. And so let me see what Ms. Ogle is saying here. Mark, I would like to aggressively pursue the leaders of Guyana, major opposition parties on this program for a quick and frank discussion on what. Sorry, let me put it up there. Thank you, Mary Baird, for your comment. Astel Ogle is saying here, Mark, I would like you to aggressively pursue the leaders of Guyana's major opposition parties on this program for a quick and frank discussion on what their position on a coalition. No nonsense about life support, etc. Guyanese are entitled to know, no surprises. Well, I got you there. Mr. Ogle. They say it's on life support. And when they continue to make these sort of statements, guess what happens? It's the supporters, Sylvia Allen. The supporters are the ones who look and they say, what's really happening? So they're supposed to have a talk, and then one political party says that it's ailing. It's basically, read between the lines, it's done. It's done. In my opinion, I'll be surprised, and some of you may not like it. It's okay. It's a democracy. The AFC, and this has been my observation from day one, the AFC wants to go at it alone. They're not comfortable with the PNC. In fact, they're not comfortable with Aubrey Norton being the presidential candidate. So they might as well just come right off the bat and say that. And nothing is wrong with them saying it. Don't beat around the bush. Don't dilly-dally. Don't try to hoodwink people. Come straight out and say that they're not comfortable with Aubrey Norton being the presidential candidate. And they believe that with Aubrey Norton as the presidential candidate, it's not going to say anything. So they might as well come out and say that instead of it ailing and all sort of things. So the AFC wants to be the big party. Now, how could the AFC be the big party? The AFC is a small party. The AFC is not even certain that they are going to get 2 or 3 or 4 seats or even 1 seat. They're not even certain about that. And so they cannot be the big person in this year at all. Not this elections. They ought not to be the big person. So they do not want to be dominated by the PNC. And of course, they have issues, I suspect, with Aubrey Norton being the presidential candidate, right? That's another issue for another talk show, right? And so they don't want to come outright and say it. And so they're going to dilly-dallying, it's ailing, it's this and that. But you can't say we never did warn you. The AFC wants to go at it alone. The AFC believes that they're not looking to win. They know that they are not going to win. But what they want is a minority government. And they believe that with a minority government, then the AFC will be, they are looking to be the boss with a minority government. Read between the lines, guys. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time in thinking that the AFC is going to coalesce with the PNC. It is just not going to happen. And they just do not want to do it. And the main person that they basically don't want to coalesce is as a result of Aubrey Norton. You can't say we didn't tell you. We're telling you that here. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Ogle. Anybody else has any other stuff? Carl Miller here. Let's see what Carl is saying. Good night to Mr. Miller. Carl Miller is saying AFC needs PNC like PNC needs AFC. Everybody needs everybody because every vote counts, right? Every vote counts. This is not a clear cut. People are frustrated. Thousands of people are frustrated. They want to get rid of the PPP. The PPP is going to be beaten. However, those guys in the opposition got to get their act together. If they don't get their act together, can't eat the dinner. And it appears as though some of them in mind if can't eat the dinner. Them in care. They're just comfortable in a little cushy position, and that's it. They're satisfied with that. And so there's not much effort putting out there in confronting the PPP regime. Not much effort at all. Now, let's see what Tony Hack is saying. Nigel Hughes said he's the presidential candidate for the AFC with a but. He said he is open for discussion. If any sit down and talk, he is open for discussion. Everybody's open for something. Aubrey's open for something. Nigel is open for something. Nigel Hughes, that is. Everybody's open for something. But the truth of the matter, AFC wants to go at it alone. AFC prefers to take a chance with the other small parties, 1 and 2, 3 members and so forth. Take a chance with them to make it look as though it's a broad-based coalition, except with the PNC. And so with that now, AFC gets to be the big boys and the big girls in the house, right? So it's a tussle, it's a struggle, it's a power play. Everybody is fighting to maintain little power, to keep their seats and all sorts of things. And very few people are thinking about you out there. It's all about the position. That is what it's about. And until they get their act together, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Whether they want all of them get together, they think of a consensus candidate that could win the elections, because that's what they got to look for. Who is best to win the elections? Who is best to win the hearts of the people? Majority of the people, not just some supporters here and some supporters there. You can't win an elections like that. The PPP is beatable, but you can't win an elections with stupidity. It just cannot happen. You cannot win an elections by being divisive. You cannot win an elections by creating enemies. You've got to win an elections by being as charming as possible and winning friends over. You cannot win an elections by cuss down. You cannot win an elections by abuse out. It just cannot happen at all. And almost every single day, people's mouths are twisted, they're long, they're vexed because of the silly cuss down, cuss out. It is not going to work. The opposition folks need to get their acts together. They just need to get that. And Court, how are you? We haven't seen you in a while. Lily Golivia, how are you? Good night. I know your niece celebrated her birthday, is it, the other day? Give her our regards. What else is happening? What else you guys want us to talk about? It doesn't make sense we talk about QC. Because if we are to talk about QC, nobody else is talking about QC. The Shadow Minister of Education apparently stopped talking about QC, Coretta McDonald. We're not hearing anything about QC at all. I got a message, though, concerning QC, because this struggle, this fight, and this perception of corruption and lack of transparency with the board, people are not comfortable with that at all. With Marcel Gaskin being the chair of the board and all these manner of things, nobody is confronting these issues. But when you talk, they vex, their bumps raise, they try to get personal. They try to throw little stupid, silly threats as though that's going to make me shake. I'm accustomed to fighting, guys. I'm a tough guy. Look at all what they've done and what they've said. I'm a tough guy. Do not threaten me. Do not threaten me. I've gotten enough threats from the corrupt, racist PPP regime already. Those few of you in the opposition, you know who you are. Do not threaten me, because you wouldn't like for my bumps to raise. Do not threaten me. I am a political commentator. I'm entitled to my opinion. You guys work for me. You are MPs and whatever else. You work for me. You work for the people. You're servants of the people. People like us have an opinion. We have a right to our opinion. And if we don't like something that those of you in the opposition are doing, we have a right to confront you guys in a respectful manner. And politics is not for soft skin or people who are going to exhibit emotional outbursts and all these sort of things. If you are thin-skinned, politics is not for you. And in politics, you don't know it all. You don't know it all. And it's scary when some people think they know it all. It's very scary. And I hope those guys in the opposition get their act together. Now is the time to beat the PPP. The PPP is at its weakest point that it has ever been. Even with the billions of dollars that they're getting, they are very, very weak. But you cannot beat the PPP just like that. And you are divided in the opposition and you cuss out people who mean well for you. Read between the lines, guys. There's certain things that I want to say, but just not yet. Do not threaten me. I've been in the trenches and I can go right back in the trenches to battle anybody, whether it's the PPP or some of you in the opposition. Take warning. What else is happening in your neck of the woods, guys? Ingrid Carter, how are you? What else is happening? Barbara Barrington, how are you doing? Y'all think it's easy for us? Sometimes we got to fight the PPP, and we do that every single day. We fight the PPP. We battle the PPP. And we don't get a salary of $300,000 every month or duty-free concessions, but we battle the PPP. Had it not been for those of us on social media, Cat would have eat the people's dinner in Guyana, because the opposition, for the most part, they're not doing that. They're just not doing that. They want to be comfortable in their positions, in the nice big pay, their fancy vehicles, and they're comfortable with that. But we can't beat the PPP like that. Who vex, who bombs raise, well, to heck with them. Who cares, right? Who cares? Now let's head back to Sam Hines. Let's head back to Sam Hines, just to let you guys know that Sam Hines is proud of this. Sam Hines is proud of MAGA. I had a brief conversation with Sam Hines earlier today. Sorry about that. As you know, last evening, yes, it was Sam Hines. I was trying to get a comment, and he realized probably what was going on, and he didn't answer his phone. But I did speak with him earlier for an explanation. And for some reason, he knows he's not answering. Sorry, a song like you know. How many of you guys think he's going to answer now? He's peeping the show. He's peeping. So basically, what Sam Hines attempted to explain, is basically that he was out there and that he held on to this MAGA sign and all manner of things. And I said, hey, you cannot do that. You may have you're entitled to your personal view on MAGA, but you are a diplomat. You are the ambassador to the United States from Guyana. And therefore, you are there to represent the country. You're not there to represent the PPP. You're not an ambassador for the PPP. You're an ambassador for Guyana. And you cannot hold on to a MAGA sign and think that it is okay. I don't know. Sometimes we got to wonder about these folks. We got to wonder about these folks who get involved in politics and all manner of things. And so last night he didn't answer when I was calling him. But as soon as I got off the air, 5 minutes after, he returned my call, right? He returned my call. And so I realized what happened there. So Sam Hines, if he's watching, it is what it is. Basil Bradshaw, good night to you, my friend. HH, Hiding Hines. But, I'm not going to give up. I don't believe in giving up. Cheryl Thomas went, how are you? So let's go back again with Sam Hines. We ain't giving up. Sam Hines again. We got to get him. We got to. How many of you guys think he's going to answer? You guys got to hear. Desiree Thomas is saying no way. Let's see. He's going to answer. I'm going to call him a third time unless Irfan or Jagdir calls him. Come on, Sam. Come. One of you in the audience walk something, man. Walk up something, no? As they would say, walk up your pies, no, man. Christopher Chichester, how are you doing? No, he's got to answer. I ain't giving up. All right, you guys are all right. Y'all know me sufficiently now. I ain't giving up. Y'all saying he would not answer. I am saying that he got to answer. He got to answer. We can see. All right. He didn't answer any. All right, guys. Hey, let's move on. And so there is no justification in any other country, guys. First of all, we should have had a press release or something from the opposition, the main opposition party on this issue. The Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs should have issued a statement on this particular issue. This is wrong. It is dead wrong. This guy is Guyana's ambassador to the United States of America. In my conversation with Sam Hines, I did say, I asked him if there were any other ambassadors who did that. If the other ambassadors did this. Obviously, no. So his response to me was that he has always been different. Well, we know that. He's always been different. And that is no excuse. That is not a proper answer to these sort of things. And it is unacceptable. If Sam Hines, in his personal capacity, would do such a thing, it is fair play. But it is unacceptable for him to do this because he is the ambassador to the United States of America, Guyana's ambassador to the United States of America. And this is unacceptable that you have the ambassador to Guyana, to the US, is holding up a MAGA sign. A MAGA sign. I don't know. His sign should have said, make Sam Hines drink Kero again. Make kerosene great again. I don't know. Something is wrong with that country, man. And I take that back. Something is not wrong with the country. Something is wrong with those who are currently leading the country. Kenneth DeFlormant, sorry. Yeah, DeFlormant is saying to use a different phone. I ain't getting no other phone. This is the only phone I get, and it's the only phone I've had for a while. It's a BlackBerry. So enough of Sam Hines. We can just, we don't know, man. Sam Hines is basically Sam Hines. That's what it is, right? Sam Hines is Sam Hines. And look at what our country has turned to. Are you putting up big billboard? You know, billboard. People are starving in Guyana. Every single day, people are starving in Guyana. Kids need money to go to school. Kids don't have transportation. And these Pacus are putting up a big billboard. A big billboard. Congratulations to Donald Trump. These folks in the PPP are the biggest ass, you know what, kisser that we have ever seen. Now, okay, Air Finale issued a statement congratulating Donald Trump becoming the 47th president of the United States. Fair enough. Fair enough. But why should the installed regime, the installed government of Guyana, go this length to put a billboard that cost over $1 million Guyana dollars? $1 million plus Guyana dollars to do this. And people are starving. I don't know, something is wrong. And the fact that something is wrong, we all know that something is wrong. The question is, what are we going to do? What are you guys going to do in Guyana? Take a look. This is the country. This is what it's about. They're going around the place begging. Every single day they're begging and begging and begging. People are laughing them that they are beggars. They are beggars, and when they beg and they receive, they steal majority of the monies. They give it to their friends, they give it to their relatives, they give it to the sweet woman, they give it to the sweet man, they take your money. Some of them go around the cathedral with your money. Some of them go and they pick fair with your money. Some of them go and impregnate whatever this sweet woman. Some of them give this sweet woman contracts. Some of them give this sweet woman and sweet man, house lots. All manner of things that's happening in that country. All manner of things. And then they go about now in communities such as Melanie Damishana. And then they have some Pacus and some Kunumunus with them who are bonding together to collect 400 black chickens. And this is what the PPP does. They said this is what we're going to do to these black communities. We're going to attempt to destroy the black communities. We're going to divide the black communities. I know they're doing that. They're punishing communities across the board, but there's a reason why I'm specifically dealing with predominantly black communities, African Guyanese communities, so that this is what this is about. So they walk into Melanie and given Melanie 400 chickens. But they're going to some of their friends and their families in Berbice and other places and giving them combines and tractors and so forth. But these predominantly African Guyanese communities, they only get black chickens. Black chickens. Black chickens. And this convict, Kwame McCoy, walked into another community and guess what? And distributed black tanks. A couple black tanks. This is what they've reduced to. Black tanks, and people got to be comfortable. You don't hear they're going into a community and giving a community a couple of school buses. You don't hear that they walk into a community and provide families who are really in need of proper jobs. They're giving them 10 days jobs, 5 days jobs, and on top of that, they are using those 10 days workers. Some of them are using the 10 days workers for sex. Yep. Some of them are using them for political purposes and all manner of things. And so if they have a meeting, they want every one of those 10-day workers in the communities to go out, to put on red shirts and go out and support the PPP regime. Jagdir did that in Berbice, where they went somewhere in Berbice, and guess what they did? They had a meeting with the 10 days workers, and they threatened the 10 days workers. They threatened the 10 days workers by saying, if you guys do not go out with your red t-shirts to this meeting, you will not get a job. And that is what the PPPC is doing across the country. They are threatening people. Left, right, and center. They are threatening citizens of the country. And they're forcing them to go to these dumb PPP meetings with red t-shirts on. Then they take photographs of those people who are forced. If you see the photographs, you will see the faces of most of those people. They're upset. They're angry because they were forced to do it. And that if they do not do it, they are going to lose their jobs. That is what is happening in Guyana, under the corrupt PPP regime. It has got to stop. It will be stopped. And the PPP is well aware of this. Why do you think they're going into Linden and they're rounding up some suspects, so to speak, and they're giving them contracts? And even not in Linden, in other places, they're giving them contracts. $50 million contracts, $100 million contracts, with people who have never built a thing in their life. Suddenly they're contractors. And then those people who have never built anything in their lives, right? They're showing you, oh, look, this is what we're doing. They're digging 2 drains and they're putting some wood over this and all. It is a disgrace. It is an embarrassment. And it's an insult to taxpayers. It's an insult to all Guyanese. To see some of these wishy-washy overnight contractors who have no experience, none whatsoever, not just in the Black Guyanese communities across the board. I see some wishy-washy people on the quarantine who name Indira, who name Pagli, who name Pawa, who are Pua, who are Aji and Aja. They don't even know to read and write. And about 5-6 of them in a house got contracts. They're living the lavish lifestyle now on the quarantine. And a couple of years ago, they couldn't even buy $100 mahambog at Port Morant Market. Now they get big houses, fancy cars, compliments of taxpayers' monies, compliments of the corruption, the corrupt PPP regime. The other day, Jack Day, wasn't it he who said he wanted the procurement board? He doesn't care about the procurement board. He is part and parcel of the corruption in Guyana. That is what it is. Take a look at him. These people weren't born with any gold spoon in their mouths. Now there's thieves, thieving hundreds of millions of dollars from taxpayers, giving it to their friends, their sweet man, around the cathedral, spending the money lavishly. And meanwhile, people have to punish in Guyana. There's no jobs. 50,000 jobs, was it? 50,000 jobs Irfan Ali said he's going to create. 50,000 jobs. My question to you guys tonight is, where are those 50,000 jobs? Who are the recipients of those 50,000 jobs? What 50,000 jobs? There is nothing. The country is bankrupt. When the coalition, the David Granger administration left the country, left the government to them, they left it in good care. They reduced the foreign debt. They did every single thing. But the PPP has increased it tenfold because they're going around the place borrowing from Iran, from Saudi Arabia, you name it, from China. They're borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and they have to repay. Who is going to do it? The taxpayers. And people are asking this important question. If Guyana is said to be the fastest, one of the fastest growing economies in the world with billions of dollars of oil wealth. Why is it then that the corrupt PPP regime, sorry about that, why is it that the corrupt PPP regime has to go around begging, walking in a country backward, bending over and begging for money, begging? They're beggars. They are professional panhandlers. They're not government officials. They don't care about the country. If they could sell Guyana out, they will sell Guyana out tomorrow. They will sell Guyana out of Venezuela. They will even make Guyana become another state of the United States. They will sell Guyana to China. They will sell the whole of Guyana to Saudi Arabia or to Iran. They will do just that. These Pakus are not patriotic. They are hustlers. They are flatfoot hustlers. That is what they are. Look at some of them. In which country the likes of a Kwame McCoy and a Jason Abdullah and majority of them, in which country these Pakus will be leader? In which country? Convicts and alleged child molesters and all of these vagabonds. In which country? Okay, yeah. In America, there is a president who has 34 felony convictions. Okay, yeah. And that's the yardstick they're measuring. So everybody now feel that because Trump got 34 felony convictions, anybody could run for office now in Guyana and other parts of the world. You know, that's the example. Anybody, any Paku can run now. You just go wrong, hand out a wheelchair, go wrong, build a little small house, and yes, you're ready to run this guy. And the people, some of them didn't even know that the people were starving. They didn't know that people were starving when they're alleged to have been smuggling gold out of the country and evading hundreds of millions of US dollars in taxes. Some people didn't know that. They didn't know that then. And suddenly they know that, right? Suddenly they wake up and realize that people are punishing in the country. But when some of them were enjoying the benefits with Irfan, giving Irfan fancy vehicles and security and all these things, and Irfan furnishing them with big guns to hurt people around the country. And when some of them feel that they could manipulate and control the police force and all of these things, are these the people y'all want to be leaders and to become president? Look, y'all best get y'all act together. As they would say in the street, y'all best dep on y'all medi, right? Y'all can't say, I never did a one, yeah, right? Dep on y'all medi. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled, guys. How many times y'all want to tell y'all, do not be fooled by some people and their stupidity, and to make it appear that they care about you poor people. As I've asked the question, many of them didn't care about poor people. They were making hundreds of millions of dollars and evading taxes, with gold being smuggled out of the country and all manner of things. Right? So if they come back and give you a little beat-up wheelchair, it is your money. It is your money. If they give you a little small kunchi baby house, it is your money. It's your tax dollars being given back to you. It's no big deal. Trust me. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It's no big deal, but we have lots more to talk about, though. Trust me. Lots more to talk about. And while some of y'all are being manipulated, some of them are talking with Irfan. Hey, man, let me settle this thing now. Can't say me never did a warn you, right? Speaking of Venezuela, this is what Jack Deere promised Venezuela. Same Jack Deere. It is not propaganda, it's not hearsay or anything. The horse's mouth, so to speak. Jack Deere promising to give a piece of Guyana to Venezuela so that they can work together, so Jack Deere can get richer and richer, and so that he can bank his money in China, more money in China, hundreds of millions of dollars in China. Jack Deere. Let him tell you guys about his bank account in China, right? Listen to this.
You could probably
on the maritime area give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
So you heard that for yourselves, right? To make a slight concession to Venezuela. A slight concession to Venezuela. Who does that? Only a madman would do something like that, and that is what Jagdeo is, a madman. You listen to him every Thursday at his press conference, you would, if you're not convinced by now that Jagdeo is a madman. He's accumulated so much wealth, compliments of taxpayers of Guyana, that they believe that Guyana belongs to them. They could do anything. They could put a big billboard of Donald Trump. They could have the so-called ambassador go to an event, and at that event, they feel comfortable doing something like this. And majority of those people in Guyana are quiet. Not a word, not a press release from the opposition condemning this action from an ambassador. He's an ambassador of Guyana. He's not the ambassador for the PPP regime. Big difference. And ambassadors have to behave in a manner that is fitting for that position. But then again, we can't blame Sam Hines, because look at we got a set of Pakus who are ambassadors and consul generals and all. Look at the Pakus. Just imagine a guy by the name of Seth Narain Singh, who was just recently the acting CEO of Gaisuko. He is ambassador now, EU. Look who else is ambassador. Leslie Ramsamy, ambassador. Look at these so-called ambassadors. Look at them. Look at the Consul General of New York City. Well, we give that Consul General a pass. He's a professional. He's a bright guy. But people are of the view that he doesn't run the consulate there in Manhattan. He doesn't. They feel that the number 2 guy, who is a puppet of Jagdeo and Irfan, they're of the view that he's the one who's running the show. And people have been complaining about how the Guyana consulate is being run. Because if you have the likes of O.C. Rogers or Ossie Rogers, who allegedly beat up a woman and all sorts of things, and then not so long ago he beat up some other person and he was remanded to prison and all these sort of things, these guys are violent. They are violent. And these are the people who are there. These are the people who are there. Can you just imagine? I don't know. And every night people pray for these guys to just, just get belly walk, right? Every night people pray for them. But the next day, we hear that they wake up back. Sorry about that. I mean, we hear that they wake up back again and they start with the nonsense over and over again. Sometimes you just want to ask God, do what's right now. But we can't question God, right? There are lots of Christians in the audience who will come after me and they will throw the whole Bible at me. We can't question God, Mark. But sometimes I want to pray and say, man, God, what's going on, man? Do something for we in Guyana now. Do something, man. And for all, by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, we hear God answer our prayers, right? And God do something for us to save that nation, that wealthy nation called Guyana, a beautiful country called Guyana. Because we run away because of the corrupt PPP regime, right? Run away because of the corrupt PPP regime. And we then another country that belongs to us too. Because our ancestors, our African ancestors, forced slavery for 400 years and built this nation called America, called the United States of America. That is how this country was built. And our foreparents weren't rewarded. Our foreparents weren't paid. All of the prime lands were taken away from Africans in this country, taken away from them, beach properties and all these things. Y'all think it's easy? and then they get some who are insulting people, who got to go back to this land, who got to go back there, who got to go back there, as though America belongs to them, that their foreparents brought America from somewhere, and the only set of people got to go back are colored people, whether they're from Queens, whether they're from Brooklyn, whether they're from wherever they are. And this country only belongs to one set, one color of people. That's not so. Even the White House was built by Africans. The infrastructures throughout this country, this was basically a swamp, so to speak. And there's no thanks, there's no gratitude for African ancestors who paid the price for this country to make America what America is today. Paved the way for everyone, whether they're from Germany, Israel, well, it wasn't Israel then, Australia, or wherever, to come to America and be comfortable. So much so now in 2025, they're ungrateful to kick people out left, right, and center, because America belongs to them now, right? It doesn't belong to the indigenous people of this country. It doesn't belong to the Africans who were forced into labor, slavery for 400 years. Deprived of voting, deprived of owning properties, deprived of even being recognized as a human being. All of those things are being shattered in 2025 because one man who feels he's a dictator, one man is getting away and getting rid of diversity programs that will allow minority folks, not just persons of African descent, minority folks to have equal access that weren't given to them before. All of these things are being, guess what, gotten rid of. But there's a God, though. There's a God. There are people who talk about God saved their life and God this, and there is a God. And then when a woman was praying and talking about showing mercy and having mercy for people, on families and all these things, we saw what happened, right? Trump and the others were just laughing and smiling. And now he's asking for the woman to apologize to him and all manner of things. Imagine you saying a prayer and you got to apologize to somebody. That's why I'm like, oh God, you know, God, start with Guyana. Do something now. Please do something. That's my prayers. Do something now. Do something. I know you're a good God. We all created. And those of you who believe in a creator and so forth, I do. I'm a believer. Because we didn't just come out from nowhere. We didn't just pop out of an eggshell just like that. Somebody created us. And we've got to be thankful. Right? And so tonight I'm asking God to save Guyana. Please do something now. Repeat after me, guys. Father, our Creator, or if you don't want to say Father, just say our Creator, do something now. Do something. Words have molding power, right? Do something now. And I will see what I'm talking about. Do something now. Do something. Y'all don't be afraid. Say, do something now. Do something now. We want something to happen. And when you want it to happen, you just ask. Do something now. We're tired. Every single day is some corruption. Every single day is some problem. Right, Lynette Nelson? Every single day. Every single day. And that is why those parasites, those crosses in the PPP regime believe that they can just get up and do anything to the people of Guyana. They could give away a piece of Guyana. They could give away this. They could give away that. So if they feel that they could just do anything to the people of Guyana, well, then we, in equal measures, can say, our Creator, God, do something now. Do something now. And for those of you who know what Ephesians 6:12 talks about, let me see if you all know Ephesians 6:12. It talks about we struggle or we fight against not flesh and blood, but against principalities, wickedness in high places. And what we are dealing with in Guyana is wickedness in high places, corruption in high places, discrimination in high places. Every single day we see the evidence of that. And so with that, we ask our Creator, do something now. Let us see the results. Do something now. Do not have those wicked people in government continue as if business as usual. And so in this prayer, we're asking you to do something now. That's it for tonight. We'll wait. And of course, we serve a living God, a true and living God. What we ask for, we will hopefully be rewarded. Do something now. Watch for the results. I'll be back tomorrow night, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Now, let me say this quickly before I go. I didn't leave you guys with those parting words of do something now, just to be funny. I really do mean it. Guyana is where our navel strings were buried. Many of us. Guyana today is not the Guyana we knew many years ago. It was safer, it was better, and people lived, for the most part, in peace and harmony. We can't say that now. It is corruption at the highest level. It is discrimination at the highest level. And everywhere you go, you got to pay a bribe, you got to pass some money, you got to do this, you got to do that. I recall when we were little kids on the quarantine. Guess what? We saluted policemen and women. We saluted our soldiers. That was when Guyana was Guyana. We saw the improvement of Guyana. For the less than 5 years, the coalition was in office. In my opinion, and I know most of you would share that, those were the beautiful days under the coalition that we've experienced after a very long time, after 23 years of misery. Hopefully we'll get back on track. But we can only get back on track as we part our ways tonight and you get to your bed or wherever you're going. Offer a word of prayer for Guyana, because our hearts are bleeding. See what Guyana is and to see how people are being treated in that country, how corrupt those politicians are. And there's not sufficient fight. So we take it now, not physical fight, but the spiritual warfare. And I ask our Creator to do something now. Do something now. Francine Cruz and others, repeat as you leave tonight. Do something now. We've got to do something now. Let's see some work. Maybe by tomorrow, by this weekend. Do something now. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. God bless you all.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore.
Say bye-bye. Do something, no? What part of Guyana are you from, Emma? You still from Linden? Really? Say bye-bye.
discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep